Get cool stuff for what you were going to do anyway. Drink beer. With Buy Beer, Get Gear from Labatt, you can just snap a photo of your receipt and upload it to the website to rack up points for exclusive merch. Get points for every purchase, whether you're grabbing a pint on draft, a case for a party, or a tall boy at the stadium. Any size, any product, anywhere you buy Labatt. Buy beer, get gear. Sign up now at rewards.labattusa.com.
Respond to you, but I'm done for the week. I'm done.
Steve is my favorite part of the show. How's that?
I like that. Thank you. Thank you for saying that.
Check for sound.
Pleasure to be on there talking with Paulie, man. He's a good dude.
I'm an idiot.
I'll just shut up and let you talk. I was trying to help.
And shout out to Tupac.
3, 2, 1, and this is Orange Nation.
Well, hello, Paulie and Steve.
With Stephen Fonte and Paulie Sibilia.
Check it out. Good afternoon, everyone. Glad to have you with us alongside Paulie Sibilia. I'm Stephen Fonte. It is a Thursday edition of Orange Nation. Two guests lined up for you on the show today, 12:30. We've got Damon Amendolara on with us from SiriusXM Mad Dog Sports Radio, founder of Orange Fizz. He was at SummerSlam. We'll get his thoughts on the Cuse men's basketball team. And then coming up at 1 o'clock, Brian Drake, fantasy football podcast host and writer, SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio. We'll talk some NFL. Training camps getting underway across the country. Bills had day one yesterday in Rochester. Plus, we'll mix in your phone calls throughout at 315-437-7644. What's up, Paulie?
Hey, Steve. How you feeling about Bills right now going into camp?
It's tough to win a Super Bowl with a first-year head coach. But I mean, I think they got the pieces there. I mean, you look at the Vegas odds; they are the co-favorites in the AFC. They're only the Rams have better odds in terms of winning the Super Bowl. So, I mean, they've certainly got a shot. I think having a first-year head coach and a very difficult schedule, that concerns me a little bit.
I'm excited about the Steelers. A lot of different changes for the Steelers. Apparently, I was watching some videos on people that were at camp. Opposite of what Fran Brown does here at Syracuse, where he thinks hitting's important, Mike McCarthy is not allowing them to hit at all during spring camp, which is new for the Steelers. Like every coach has had that as part.
And that's interesting. We've seen other teams, like the Giants, for instance, they had what was considered a light camp last year. And John Harbaugh said, no, we're going, I think, 11 out of 12 days. They're going hard. The Giants were, I think, statistically the most injured team in the NFL last year. Arizona might have been more injured in terms of guys going on the IR and so on and so forth. But the Giants were right up there. And so, obviously the light camp did not help. So John Harbaugh's taking the opposite approach.
It does not seem like the Steeler way to not be hitting.
Yeah, right.
This hitting is the Iron Curtain, man.
Right. Blue collar. It's like what they would do with Salve.
Yeah,
right.
If the Salve had a football team, they'd hit.
Well, they do have a football team.
Not a pro team.
Okay,
see.
all right.
I don't want high school kids getting hurt.
Yeah.
Be smacking each other in Salve and Marcellus.
Pittsburgh tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, want to do something that we've done a billion times, but rename it and do it in a different way?
I would love to.
Let's rank the toughest games on Syracuse's schedule. It kind of got in my head last night, Steve. You know how we said Miami's the clear number one, and then we were talking 2, 3, and 4 could be interchanged.
Yeah.
It's hard to rank those teams, but you also have them all at home, right? And they're all better than you on paper.
They
to
are.
Start the season.
Yeah.
And so let's rank who is the easiest to the toughest, Steve, of games.
Okay. You want to start? You start with the easiest then.
Yes, we're going to.
The easiest is the
New
first game
Hampshire.
of the season.
Yeah.
Yes. That is the easiest game.
I would put that 1 as the easiest.
Yes.
12 being the hardest is the rules I was given.
That's what we're doing. Okay. I think number 2 is, man,
UConn.
After that, I mean, it's probably UConn. You hope that it's UConn.
It's going to be. UConn's in a rebuild.
Yeah. I think
their coach left, their offense left. It's in a rebuild.
Yeah. I would say UConn, and then I would put BC next. So I would say BC is 3.
And then UNC 4, right?
UNC 4.
Correct. I think that's the easy part.
Okay.
Now
it gets a little more difficult.
Is you go 5. See, I'm torn on Cal because the media picked them, what, 9th?
No, media picked them 12th.
12th.
Yeah.
But multiple guests we have had on have said they're going to be sleeper good.
Yeah, and Pittsburgh is in that category too.
Yeah.
Those are the two schools that keep popping up as sleepers in this conference.
And Virginia's a tough one too because they were good last year.
Yeah.
Was that a fluke?
I think Virginia might take a step back this year, but I'm not
Ready to put them
Virginia
at 5?
Yeah, I think it's probably Cal because Pitt and Virginia are both on the road. Cal is second, coming out of New Hampshire. Like you're theoretically going to be the healthiest you're going to be all season long in that Cal game. And you know what's at stake. You know how important it is. And, Cal's coming from the West Coast to the East Coast, all that good stuff. I think, Cal is a scary game, but I think that's probably next on the list.
Okay. 6. We've had people say Pitt was going to be very good. I don't know that NC State is going to be great or Virginia.
I would lean Virginia here because the Pitt game scares me for a couple of reasons. Number one, they never win at Pittsburgh. Number two, the quick turnaround. I mean, they play a really big game on Saturday, September 12th against Cal, as we've talked about. And then that's a Thursday game on the road at Pittsburgh, a place that they just do not win.
So you're going to say...
So I'm going to go Virginia here.
Virginia will be more difficult than NC State and Pitt?
I think so. I think Virginia is due for a little regression after what we saw last year.
Okay. I hate picking NC State over anybody any year.
Yeah.
Okay,
and NC State is in November, and NC State is coming off of, again, keep in mind how the schedule falls too, whereas you get Virginia coming off of UConn, you get NC State coming off of SMU and Clemson back-to-back weeks. You might be a little banged up going into that NC State game.
I like it.
So that's my reasoning there. Then I think you probably go NC State
7.
And then I think Pittsburgh is after that.
Okay. So we've got 4 more games, Steve. And they're all hard. You got Clemson, Louisville, SMU, Notre Dame. I'm going to think that Notre Dame or SMU are going to be the 2 most difficult.
I think Notre Dame's the toughest.
Okay, so we'll automatically put them at 12.
Yeah.
That's the hardest.
I think so.
Yes.
I think so. And then to your point, as you said earlier,
these are all interchangeable.
I think Louisville, SMU, Clemson are all interchangeable.
I think Louisville's the second hardest. That's just my
Louisville, really.
That's just my take. I think they're the second best team in the ACC.
Okay.
But so could Clemson be, and so could SMU. Who do you think?
My gut said SMU was going to be the second most difficult. Just, again, if everybody's healthy, Kevin Jennings is a problem. Syracuse tends to struggle with that kind of quarterback. You're coming off a road game. I guess you're coming off a road game going into Louisville as well.
All right, so you go 11.
We're splitting hairs
11.
Here, but my gut said SMU and then Louisville and then Clemson. Like Clemson.
10. All right, so we basically just reread the media poll out loud.
No,
yeah.
we had Virginia in a different spot in Pittsburgh, and I think our reasoning was solid there with what we did with Virginia and Pittsburgh.
Okay, so we've got New Hampshire the easiest, Notre Dame the hardest. Seems like
that's a no-brainer.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah.
All right.
I'm interested to see what Clemson is this year.
I think they're going to be sneaky good.
Right.
I think
they've been kind of flying under the radar, and nobody's talking about them.
Their quarterback play has been so bad.
It has been, yeah.
All they need is a quarterback to even be halfway good. That's my take on that. And the other thing is, what was I going to say about Clemson is they're kind of like, Virginia's due a regression. I think Clemson's due a step up.
I would agree with that.
I just brain froze on the year. That's great.
That happens sometimes.
That's great.
That happens sometimes. I'm with you on that. I think Clemson I think they kind of like where they are right now. Nobody's talking about them. Mm-hmm. They're just flying under the radar. And now with the expanded playoff, there's no reason Clemson can't get back to the playoff. And especially the way that they have the tiebreakers this year. It goes by where you are in the playoff poll. And I think, keep your eyes on Clemson. 'Cause I'm with you. I think they are due for a little bit of a bump.
You know what I'd like to do that we haven't done in the past, Steve? I would like our producers to hold us accountable. Like we just say this stuff and it just floats up and then vanishes. I would like Tim at the end of the football season to come in and go, you guys are brilliant or you guys are idiots.
Yeah. Okay.
All right? Like,
the only thing with this particular exercise is, saying it's hard or easy. I mean, it's only going to be a win or a loss. It's hard to rank them.
No, I know, but if for some reason Virginia finishes 5th and UNC finishes, higher, we'll know.
Yeah.
We'll know.
Right. I'm just saying you might individually as a team match up better against some team. It doesn't necessarily go by the
We'll know who is the most difficult.
Okay.
It's not rocket ship science, Steve.
Okay.
But I would like to be held accountable.
I do think that
we are powerful people. We need to be held accountable.
I do think the game by game, going through the 12-game schedule and picking wins and losses, we could be held accountable for that afterwards because it's very black and white. We were either right or wrong about each individual game. So,
I think we'll know by where they finish in their rankings who is more difficult.
You understand what I'm saying, though? Like,
I think you're being a pain in the ass right now.
No, I'm
for
not.
No reason.
Let's say SMU finishes second, but Syracuse loses on a last-second field goal. Does that mean that it was still more difficult just because they finished second? That was my point. I don't know why this is. I wasn't trying to be difficult. All I'm saying is, if you're going to be held accountable on an exercise, where we pick the wins and losses, that would be easier.
All right,
to be held accountable.
You got it. You got it.
Okay.
You win. I'm not even going to do it today. You win. God bless your wife.
Not trying to be difficult. That was our opening drive. Brought to you by Burdick BMW of Cicero and Burdick Toyota. Phone lines open for one segment. Then we've got Damon Amendolara set to join us at 12:30. 315-437-7644. Back after this on ESPN Radio.
Catch Sunday Night Baseball every Sunday night at 6:30 on ESPN Radio Syracuse.
This is not a new shirt. It is, it's an old shirt. It's the Planet Hoth shirt. I have a Tatooine shirt, a Hoth shirt. I'm very nerdy. You're welcome. It takes everything I have in my system not to get sick of Steve sometimes. Sometimes his half birthday Steve pops out like that was half birthday Steve. I deserve a half birthday.
No, you understand what I'm saying?
You could have just said, okay, that's a good idea, and ended it instead of nitpicking over that. Like,
okay, I wasn't nitpicking.
Sometimes you might play better than you actually do,
right.
And
correct. That's why that particular exercise is hard to be held accountable for. But the wins and losses, that's easy because they either won or they lost. It's black and white. This is not black and white. That was my point. I wasn't nitpicking. There's still some opinion that comes into it. No.
If they beat Miami and Miami makes it to the national championship again, that was still the most difficult game on the schedule. My God.
What if you lose to Notre Dame by 30 and you lose to SMU by 3? SMU might, or vice versa. You lose to Notre Dame by 3, you lose to SMU by 30. But Notre Dame goes to the playoff. Is Notre Dame the toughest game, or was SMU the toughest game?
We'll know at the end of the year who finishes where.
Right, but what I'm saying is you can't strictly go by the standings to determine if we're right or wrong.
Oh, my God.
You can't.
Shut up. We don't need to be doing this. We were just talking about how fun yesterday's show was out there, and you are just insufferable. You guys hate me, and, like, how is that likable? How is that personality likable?
I'm not trying to be difficult.
No, you are. You're going out of your way to be difficult.
No, I'm not.
No, you are. You know exactly how easy that could have been, and we're shut up.
Okay.
It's not very wrong where I'm confident that I'm right against you, and I'm 100% right against you in this one. Like, you're just being difficult.
No, I'm not trying to be difficult. We pick a topic for tomorrow yet? You want to just draft basketball players? Starting five current NBA players.
What is in you? You're on one today. You're just being a dick for no reason.
Well, now I'm irritated. The clock's gone. I just looked up. No clock.
The clock was never right. Gabriel, if you think if Steve left, I would still have a job. He is not my financial lifeline. I can promise you that. No, we'll do starting five foods Steve won't eat. We've done cartoon characters before. But those are too human. They're too human. We can't do those. Everything's got but everything's
humans are human.
No, it's got to go by your rules. Everything is your rules.
You said before we started this, no humans.
No, everything's got to go by your rules.
And now we've done humans twice.
I don't recall. Find the tape. Play the tape of me saying no humans. Because I've wanted to do rappers and shit since day one.
Right, and we discussed that, and we said no humans.
You probably said it. I didn't.
I didn't say it.
No, I agree. There's chemistry. He said he was my financial lifeline. My income is not tied to Steve whatsoever. Oh no. So Steve, no hitter is over.
I could tell.
I completely forgot to open up the audio. I think we have audio to play, too.
TLC today, right?
Yeah, very good day. Here's this TLC song. Baby, baby, baby. Oh,
YouTube.
No hitter for you, gone, too. All you got to do is tell me to shut off YouTube. I like TLC. I realized today.
You realized today?
I realized how much I like TLC when I was downloading their music, Steve. It's very good, very entertaining.
Yes. I would agree with you on that. That's why we picked him. It was a clean sweep yesterday. All right, we've got Damon Amendolara coming up here in the next segment, and he was at SummerSlam, as we mentioned. So was one Carmelo Anthony.
Please continue to buy time, Steve.
Oh,
why don't you tell us a little bit about your day? How'd you sleep last night? While I do my job I should have done earlier in the day.
My day is fine. My day is fine. You want me to do the Yankees update here?
No, we're going to need that.
Okay.
But you just, how was your ride in?
My ride in was, well, as you know, it was a little bumpy. There's
traffic on 690.
Accident on 690.
You can do the traffic on the 18s here if you want. All right, now I got
heavy backup on 690 as of about 20 minutes ago, but I was able to get here just in the nick of time.
Good.
All right, so you're doing your job now.
Yeah, I've done my job that I should have done earlier. I apologize.
All right, Damon Amendolara was at SummerSlam. So was one Carmelo Anthony, and Mike Waters had a chance to sit down with him and chat with him.
Hold on. I just looked at the audio. Okay. So they have, and now in my defense, they have old mellow sound in and new mellow sound, and I opened the old ones. Okay, now we're good.
Okay, so since you know what you have, why don't you toss to it?
All right, he talked about practice at Syracuse.
We're talking about practice?
We're talking about practice.
Let's hear about practice.
And what he's seen and the feel of practice.
I like what I see. I don't want to give no description of what I see, but it's just certain things when you walk into a gym, you can say, okay, right then and there, this feels different.
Is it a Jerry McNamara feel?
I mean, of course, he's at the helm of that, but it's also when you walk into the building, you get a different type of energy when you walk in there.
Give me the name of one player that stood out, caught your eye.
I like Mark. I mean, you could just see something that he had.
Mark Morano.
Yes.
He likes Mark, not Sibby.
He didn't say he didn't like Sibby.
Mark. I like that too, Mark. Let's just call him Mark. It's easier.
It's not bad. Mark Morano Mamatovic. It's not bad.
Yeah, so there's a different vibe. It's year one of a head coach. You would hope there's a refreshed, renewed feeling in the building.
Yeah, I think we get that.
I think
it's quite obvious that is the case. We've heard good things about Ryan Mesh as well. And you kind of know what you're getting in the guys coming back, right? In Kyan and Sadiq. And I think both seem to be, bigger, stronger, faster. I mean, you see the videos that Syracuse basketball is putting up about Kyan. It seems like he's improved his outside shot. He's definitely put on some weight and some muscle, and he's bigger. And that was an issue last year, getting pushed around on both ends of the court at times. I think we've got Melo talking about his son, yes?
He was never going to be a one-and-done player, so we knew that from the jump. So we always wanted to get our feet wet and see what the first season was going to be, whether it was going to be good or bad. Who could have predicted that? It allowed us to see where we needed to work at.
Yeah, that's true. And he's got to work on a shot and getting bigger, and we know he's gotten bigger, and from what it sounds like, his shot's good.
Yeah, and, we talked to Jerry McNamara, and that's one thing that he said about Kyan is that when he came here, he had an honest and open conversation, just like he did with everybody else, the guys who stayed or left for that matter. And, he explained to him what he's got to do. And it looks like he's doing those things, to the point where it seems like, just given how much run he's getting on, Syracuse basketball social media and whatnot, and what we've seen and heard, seems like he's making a push for a starting job.
Okay, Steve, I like that. I don't know who thought Kyan was a one and done. That never crossed my mind. The important part about his strength is he gets fouled, but he clearly could not finish at the rim when he was absorbing contact. And if you get bigger and you can do that, it completely changes your abilities.
And not only that, I would say the strength came into play even further away from the basket as well. You're right. He had trouble finishing around the rim. He also had trouble at the three-point line when guys got up on him. And we saw that during ACC play, that the better athletes were getting up on him a little bit, getting handsy with him, pushing him around a little bit, and he did not handle it well. It affected his outside shot. He was rushing, and it affected his ability to get to the basket and finish. And I think it affected him on the other end of the court as well. So strength was so important. He knew he had to put on weight. He had to put on some muscle. He's done that in the offseason. He's got to get more consistent with his shot. He had moments where he shot the ball well, but by and large over the season didn't shoot it well from the free throw line, didn't shoot it well enough from three-point range. And it seems like those are things that he has addressed in the offseason.
The other thing we haven't mentioned is his free throw.
His shot looked better. He knew he had to put on some weight and some muscle in the offseason, and he has done that. And that's why, that offseason, you see it so often. A guy will make his biggest jump from his freshman year to his sophomore year in the offseason because of just that. They kind of understand what it takes to be a college athlete. They get with the strength and conditioning staff, and they hit the ground running, and they know how to work, right? And some guys come out of high school and they don't truly know what it means to work hard and improve your body like that. Now they have everything at their disposal: a nutritionist, a trainer. They've got 24/7 access to the Melo Center and so on and so forth. And I think we've seen with both of those returning guys, they've put in the work in the offseason, and they're both expecting it to pay off this year.
And all those things you just mentioned are new to Syracuse. Like, other schools were doing it for a long time, and Syracuse is just catching up. So
yeah,
there's that. That's a good move forward. Like, I think it's been 3 or 4 years they've had a nutritionist.
Yeah, it's necessary now. I mean, it really is. And you're paying these guys like they're professional athletes. You need to treat them like they're professional athletes in that way, right? If you want to get the most bang for your buck. And so yes, Syracuse fell behind in a lot of areas, and they're playing catch up, and that's one area that they're catching up in and have caught up in, hopefully. All right, we'll take a time out here. Damon Amendolara will join us on the other side. Again, he was at the SummerSlam event. We'll talk about that event. We'll talk about Cuse basketball with Damon next on ESPN Radio.
Steve and I hate each other. Can you tell by the way he ignores me during the commercial breaks? You know who I really hate here? Paul. I hate that guy. Steve, I don't really hate Paul. I was just joking. My God.
You do.
Paul helped me move. Unlike you, I like him more than you.
I offered. You changed the date on me.
Why do I need to love Steve? Gaper. Tell me how you know nothing about my life more. I think it got contentious down the stretch, guys. I think Greeny got offered the gig. Dude, I would have a mic. I could probably get on other stations if I asked. Also, you're so wrong about my life. I think yesterday kind of showed me what kind of person you really are. No, it wouldn't affect me for sports either. Steve quit. We would find someone to replace him. I'd still be here. Sorry. I kind of caught on to what kind of person you were yesterday when you were trying to project on me your behavior. I like Greeny. Greeny's one of my favorites. Every time we have him on, I'm sick or something happens, and I'm not here. Yeah, Steve, you never try and hook me up with any weather chicks or news chicks or your wife's friends. I would not hook me up. You know what you accused me of doing when you were projecting on me. Yeah, Steve. I would not hook me up with it. I would not want to be responsible for hooking me up with anybody. That's a good point. I know. I'll defend Steve on that one.
Who likes you? You like?
Yeah, I would not. I would never, ever, ever put that pressure on Steve, like making it responsible.
What does Philly say there? Oh, yeah. That's funny. Yeah. Oh, okay then. She put something out on Instagram the other day.
My God, it's bonkers.
A pic? No, it was a pic of her at Channel 9, and she said, "I don't follow her or whatever," but Mario showed me, and it was like, basically, she was like taking a shot at her time there, and was like, "Oh, this was a couple of years ago," and then like she had like a frown face emoji or something. Like,
if I had to work with you, I'd have a frown face.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I do have him work with you, and I do have a frown face. Oh no, Steve, get your act together and remind me to do my job.
YouTube.
No, I gotta open the damn music. Welcome back to Orange Nation, Steve. You know this song?
I do.
Red Light Special. You know what this song's about, Steve?
I do, Paulie.
This song's naughty. I'm not going to get into it, but If you want to listen to the lyrics, you can do that on your own time. But my goodness, TLC, settle down.
TLC, our artist of the day. Somebody in the chat, I think it was Kevin, said he wanted more Paul Davis. So maybe we can arrange that.
It's TLC day.
All right. As promised, let's go to our guest line. If you happen to be watching us on QSportsTalk.com, you'll see Damon Amendolara live and in person. SiriusXM Mad Dog Sports Radio host, founder of Orange Fizz. Damon, I know that you were at SummerSlam. We were not. No media allowed in, at least no local media allowed in. So you got to be our eyes and ears. What'd you see? How was the event?
First of all, it's a perfect day for TLC to be honored here because really Paulie is the left eye of Central New York sports media. Most likely to set your house on fire and throw all of your speakers out the second floor window. So very good choice there, Paulie. Yeah, it was an incredible event, and I feel really grateful to have been invited to go there because, as you said, it was really not for the media. And it was documented by Syracuse Athletics, and there were certainly pictures and videos that came out because of fans that were there. And I saw Mike Waters down there as well on the outside. But, I got that golden ticket, that Wonka golden ticket, and I was really blown away by one overwhelming dynamic, and that was positivity. And you guys know Syracuse fans, such as all of us, have been beaten down by a lot of things over the years. I think the move to the ACC has really created kind of a tortured existence in some ways. It doesn't feel like home. It still didn't feel like home. The fact that the football program has been so down for so long, despite, maybe outside of a few bright spots like 2 years ago in the 10-win campaign. The fact that the basketball program has, frittered away to 5 straight non-tournament years, and that even the Dome doesn't feel the way the Dome once did in terms of energy and vigor. It's like, boy, combine that with the winters and combine that with, everything else in life. And it's just like, boy, you want something to feel good about. And this was a night where I talked to a lot of people from a lot of different layers, whether it was admins, coaches, former players, or fans, donors, boosters, or just people that were kind of like in that circle. And to a man, to a woman, everybody felt really good about the program, specifically Jerry taking over the basketball program, but also just Brian Blair as AD, Fran Brown getting a starting quarterback back at Angeli. Everybody felt like we had something. And I have to tell you, for a long time, there's been pockets of optimism, but not a kind of a consistent optimism. And I felt that vibe in this building that night.
In terms of what you saw on the court, and I'm sure that it was limited, but we were told there was a 3-point shooting contest, there was a slam dunk competition, so on and so forth. Did anything stand out to you in terms of the personnel on the roster this year?
Well, I mean, you see a guy like Gavin Doty, and he really looks the part. Now, I know he comes over from Siena, and we have to see if he can get it done at a high major level night after night. Going against UNC as Duke is much different than going against his conference. But he walked out there, and he just looked like a guy that kind of could handle himself in a big spot, have the pressure on him, be a face of a program, that type of thing. I thought, oh boy, Doty doesn't look like he's been playing at a lesser conference. He carried himself a certain way. That was notable to me. I thought there was a little bit of a freedom for Cayenne. Last year there was a lot of expectation. We know that it didn't go very well. We know that Carmelo seemed to be frustrated at times. Was there a control issue with how much Cayenne was going to play and whether Autry was trying to put a stamp on the program, what have you? I just thought there was a certain lightness to seeing him, as though, I don't know, some of the heaviness was washed away. I thought it was really fun just to see some of the guys try their best at dunks, even if they, weren't necessarily dunk artists, kind of like playing to the crowd and being part of the show. But I just thought overall there was a very light and positive vibe. Again, and now this is, I need to be very clear here, this is a pep rally in many ways. These are people there to donate to the program, that want to see the program do well, so they're not inclined to be negative. But I thought from top to bottom, everything was really well done, and the players that were there seemed happy to be there. Not like they were dragged along to an event. I got to speak to GMAC one-on-one, and man, when you talk to Jerry, it just is so obvious that he is compelled to win. And he really is very upset that they have not won. Not like,
it's been his fault the last couple of years, but he is really down about the fact that fans don't feel the same attachment and that the Dome hasn't been the same and that they haven't made the tournament. So there's this real fire that burns in Jerry. And, I talked about this as well in my videos and wrote about this on the Fizz. Carmelo is such an amazing kind of MC of it all. He's an all-time great player. Those guys usually kind of can be a little aloof, a little standoffish. I'm here for the appearance, but you guys do the hard work. Carmelo is all bought in on Jerry, on the team, on the program, on the trajectory, and that gives you so much hope. So it was kind of a little bit of everything. I don't know if we got too much of the basketball side of things from the current roster, but I thought in terms of an attitude adjustment that this program is desperately needed, it was on full display with that team that night.
We were at the TBT the other day, too, and the fact that Melo is sitting courtside at the TBT shows you, how bought in he is. I got to ask you a question about the team. They've been pushed around a lot lately. They haven't had the positional size, and that was Jerry's big thing. What about the off-the-bus test? How this team getting off the bus, how do they look compared to, any other Power 4 teams you might have seen?
It's a good question. I think there's a few bodies in there that you go, are those guys going to be big enough? Are they going to be strong enough? But look, there's some big guys in there as well. And it's hard to tell in that room because there's only the Syracuse players and not an opponent. And it's not like you're taking on Bryant and you're like, oh, we're bigger than Bryant. Or it's not like you're taking on North Carolina and go, oh boy, Syracuse is not as big as North Carolina. There's really no context. But I did at times go, I wonder if these guys are going to be big enough. Some of the guys that came over from Siena. Then I thought, well, there's a couple of guys in here that do look like they can bang down low as well. So it's a little bit of everything. And what I found so interesting is that there's so many kind of new faces to get used to that a lot of the fans in there were, I think, maybe learning about some of the guys in real time. Like, oh, I read about that guy, but I haven't seen him. Or, oh, that's who we got from so-and-so. So, yeah, the off-the-bus test is a good question, but it's really hard to know until you can put them against another off-the-bus team and go, oh, that's what a guy looks like at this level.
Damon, when you were at SU, Syracuse was thriving in many sports, right? And a question that we get often is, can Syracuse truly compete in the ACC and on a national level in this NIL landscape? How do you handle that question? Do you think they can get back to like late 90s type situation where, football and basketball, top 25 pretty much every year and things are rolling along? Is that realistic at some?
Context is everything here because it's a different landscape and there's different priorities for kids and it's a different conference and there's different resources. But I went to the football complex to sit down and do a long form interview with Fran, and that's going to be published today on my YouTube channel. I'll write about that on the Orange Fizz. And then I also had to sit down with Brian Blair. And one thing struck me, look, the facility is awesome. There's, I'm sure, a lot of fans that will never see it. It's beautiful. It's sparkling. It's only, I think, 18 months old or something like that. It is absolutely gorgeous. But there was the conference champion sign, and it said 96, 97, 98, and I think 2012. And I thought, boy, I was at school for two of those three Big East championships. I got on campus September of 97. But that was the heart of the McNabb era. 96, 97, 98 is the last 3 years. And I thought, man, that's a run of dominance that feels so foreign, every year winning the conference in football. So if you're asking me, can you get back to winning the ACC every year? Probably not, because, it's just a different era. It's a bigger conference. It's more of an arms race. And in basketball, the Duke, North Carolina thing is hard because in the Big East, Syracuse was either 1 or 1A or 1B in terms of prestige, history, resources, etc. That's just not going to be the case at Syracuse when you play North Carolina and Duke. If you are in that category, you are really, really humming. But I don't think it takes that to have a really successful program as well. And I think, not to set sights low, but I don't think that it's going to take much for Jerry and the basketball program to make the tournament every year. And if just making the tournament and being in a first-round exit's not enough, that's okay. I like setting the expectations higher, but I don't think it's going to be very long before Jerry, I assume he can coach. I believe he can coach. And I know he's got the requisite fire to get the most out of the guys that SU has. I don't think it takes very long to become a perennial NCAA tournament team. Now, there's a next level to that, as we all know. Just getting to the tournament's not going to be enough. From a football program standpoint, I make no bones about it. I have immense respect for Fran, and I just think Fran Brown is an elite football guy. Now, it doesn't mean he's an elite coach yet, but I think he's an elite leader and football guy for a culture. So if you're asking me, can they get to a bowl game every year? Yeah, I do. I do think that's reasonable. Now, the 90s when I'm there and the early 2000s, you're talking about going to Fiesta Bowls and Orange Bowls and Sweet 16s every single year. I don't know if that's even reasonable anymore, but do I think this is a program that can be perennial bowl team, perennial compete in the top quarter of the ACC in football, and be an NCAA tournament team, and hopefully you're a 3 or a 4 seed instead of a 9 or a 10 seed and win a couple of games? Yeah, absolutely. I do not think that's far off. And I will tell you that what I sensed from SummerSlam was that there is a renewed effort or a renewed vibe and energy from fans that they're willing to donate or willing to partake or willing to be engaged if they believe we're on the right track as a school and a program. And I felt that way that night. Now, it takes winning. If you go to the Dome and Jerry loses, you go to the Dome and they go 3-9 again in football, look, you're gonna bail on the program, understandably so. But I think people are ready to believe again. And if you believe, and this is an era of fundraising, et cetera, then you've got the components to make it happen. And I think Brian Blair is a really big part of maximizing the resources.
You know, speaking of resources, you mentioned the Lally complex and the football complex. And when you were here, there were no resources. They were still getting to bowl games. Maybe you could put in perspective how important it is for Syracuse to have such a football facility as they have now, which other schools have had for almost a decade.
Yeah, I worked on a morning show at Z89 with Paulie in the fall of 1997, and there is no football complex, and there is no Mello Center, and it is all kind of the dark ages. It's Paul Pasqualoni running an old school pro-style offense, and like everything is from the 80s, everything, and it could be that way and you could still win because it was about recruiting the right kids who might be 3 stars and building them into the requisite player you needed, winners and tough guys, etc. And that was okay. You didn't have to do more than that because they were going to be around your campus for 4 to 5 years. You could really spend time grooming them, and you hope that they were all leaders, and you could get to, you could beat Virginia Tech, and you can beat Pitt, and you can beat all those teams. And like, that's a very reasonable goal. Today, it's so different. You need arms, and I don't talk about literal arms. You need the arms race arms. Like, you need that facility. You need the splash. You need SummerSlam Cuse. You need all these things that create revenue. And I understand that it's a disheartening thing for a lot of fans to go, well, are we just paying the highest salary? And if we don't get that, do we lose? Do we automatically lose? I don't think it's that simplistic. But yeah, you need the Lally Sports Complex, and you need the Mello Center, and you need SummerSlam Cuse. Those are the only ways you can really compete at the highest levels. And I think we're seeing SU start to click into those things. And I'll tell you another thing. I briefly said hello to the new chancellor, and the one thing that I like about him is he said sports has to be a priority. And this is kind of a bottom line business thing. It's not even about the altruistic, we build greater leaders in the society and community and young men and women that are going to lead. It is about, it really is the best way to expose and market Syracuse as a university at a time where that part of higher education is fighting for a lot of the same students. So how do you get there? Well, you got to win in football and basketball. Simple as that. And if you don't, a lot of kids will ignore you and not even, want to apply. So there is a restored influence on making sure football and basketball are good right now. They all understand that television contracts are going to expire by the end of the decade. So you got to be on the bus as well in terms of that. So, when I was there, it was the dark ages, and it didn't have to be this way, but it is this way now. And you have to have people that embrace that new way. And I think that Syracuse has those important pieces in place.
Damon, I want to get to your sit down with Fran Brown here in a moment, but one last basketball question. You talk about, that it won't be long before Jerry can get this program back to the tournament year in and year out. Do you think he does that in year one? What are your expectations for year one?
Yeah, I do. Now, I don't know if they are a slam dunk tournament team, but I wrote a piece about this at the Orange Fizz, and he said to the crowd, this team, like this year's team, will change the trajectory of this program. And he's convinced of that. He's convinced that over the last 5 years, those guys, those teams let down the city, let down the brand. And he believes this is the turning point and that this team will be seen historically as the turning point. Now, maybe that's a little bit of what he's selling to get kids, to get these guys to buy in. But I really believe that he believes it. And he put his name on, it is now different. And I spoke to him one-on-one to kind of sense how much of this is what you gotta gin up versus what is really realistic. And he didn't say this to me, but I sensed he was very frustrated when he looked at film of last year's team, that last year's team gave up the rope. I think he believes that last year's team quit in some ways on Adrian and on the team, on themselves, on each other. And I think he's disgusted by that. And so I do believe, look, it's in an expanded NCAA tournament. It's not that hard to go and make this field, especially if it's a field of 76. Yeah, I think he's going to make the tournament this year. And if he doesn't, they're going to come darn close. And I'll tell you, this is the guarantee. They might miss the tournament. They will not have as many give-ups in the second half as they did last year, as many second-half swoons, as many last 5 minutes we get outplayed. That will not happen. This guy is so wired. This guy is so wired to do this, and he feels like it's his destiny. He feels like this has been my destiny. This is my dream. This city and this school gave me everything. Boeheim gave me everything. I cannot let this down. So I think he's going to kill himself trying, and I think this is a tournament team.
Yeah, very well said. All right, this sit down with Fran Brown that you're going to drop later today. What can we expect from it? Did anything stand out to you from your conversation with him?
Well, I asked him about that agendas comment that he made at the ACC media days about how he had to make changes to his coaching staff because he felt like there was agendas. And I asked him specifically, what were those agendas? And he said, we had guys interviewing for other jobs. And he said, most coaches are totally fine with that. He said, but if you don't get that job, you come back to the old job. And I've got to wonder whether you still want to be here. And he said, quote, it's like if your dad steps out with another lady and he comes back home and says, I still love you guys. Do you believe it? I thought, boy, that's a powerful metaphor. He goes, that's what happened. He said, I owed it to these kids. I said that this is really powerful. So we got into just these decisions he had to make, hard decisions on his staff. And, I don't think it's easy to fire guys that you've been loyal to or been loyal to you for a while. And he said it had to be done. Because I owed it to the kids. The kids sensed it. The kids sensed that there were agendas of the coaching staff. So that, to me, was the most powerful part of it. He also had this great anecdote about a guy named Mr. Joseph. He said, Mr. Joseph is in his 70s. He's been around watching Syracuse sports since the 50s. He remembers the 59 national championship team with Jim Brown. And he says, I believe I'll be on this earth to see a second football national championship. He was at SummerSlam Q's. Fran Brown gave him a ride home. I can't even believe this story is real, but he gave him a ride home, this guy, Mr. Joseph. He said, I just listened to Mr. Joseph talk about the program for the entire ride home, and we dropped them off at his place, and we went out to get some dinner afterwards. I mean, it's just an amazing story. But he said, because I asked him, I said, Vegas has you as a 4.5 win team. So the over-under is 4.5 wins. I think that's underrated. And I said, does that make you mad? You're a 4-win football team? He goes, I don't care what they think. I care what Mr. Joseph thinks. I care what that guy thinks. And that's who I'm doing this for. And again, I thought that was a real connective moment and a real kind of window into who Fran Brown really is. So that one really caught me as well. So those are two really good moments of the interview. The interview is probably about 20 some odd minutes. So I got a good long form sit down with him at the Lally complex. But those two stand out. And if you're a Syracuse football fan and kind of want to understand Fran a little bit more on a deeper level and get ready for the season, I think this is a really cool conversation. I was super grateful that he found the time. He's a busy guy these days. And he also said this program's for the alum. Because I said, Kevin Johnson's coming back and Freeney is back on the staff and all these guys, you've embraced them. Why is that? He goes, they were here before me. The program's here before me and the program will be here after me. This is their program too. And I think that he's inviting these guys to come in to sit down in positional meetings. He said when Kevin Johnson comes, he sits in the wide receiver meeting. So how powerful is that as well for these kids to have former NFL players sit down in their positional meetings on a Tuesday and, going through film with them. So it was a really cool insight into how Fran is doing it. And look, the fact is, if you keep Steve Angeli upright and healthy, you're going to be much better than last year. So I'm optimistic about the football season.
So that's where I was going next, Damon. I asked you about prediction and expectations for basketball. What is your expectation for year 3 under Fran Brown? Do you think they get back to a bowl game?
I do. I think this is a 6 or 7 win team. And, I realize that Vegas does not believe that. I think the schedule breaks their way in a few ways. They don't have some of the tougher competition that they had last year on the schedule. The Angeli thing is the biggest thing. Obviously, he has stacked the backup quarterback spot, so that's better than last year. But this is about Angeli. I think there's a renewed focus. I think there's a renewed sense of purpose. They'll have some guys, I think, play better this year than they showed last year. I also think if Angeli doesn't go down, that's a much different season. So if last year's Syracuse team with a healthy Angeli, I thought would win 6 games. I mean, they were 3-1, right? So this year, I think, is the same thing. So I think it's a 6 or 7 win team. I wouldn't be surprised if they're 7-5, and that should be good enough for a decent bowl game.
All right, Damon. Go ahead, Paul.
I got one personal question.
Yeah,
Damon.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember this, and maybe I'm making this up, but did you call the Great Alaska Shootout?
Oh, yes, I did.
You did? I don't know if you remember this, but Dave Pash and I walk into a random bar in Alaska, and you were doing karaoke to Peace Train. Do you remember that?
That tracks for. I don't remember specifically that song, but I remember it was like the Great Moose Lodge or something that we went to. There was or Yukon Charlie's or something. It was one of these classic Anchorage bars. The basketball team played with the Great Alaska Shootout in winter 2000. So that was my senior year. And so me and Andrew Catalan, who calls NFL games and college basketball games, were at WAER at the time. So we went on that trip. So yeah, so the broadcasters for the Great Alaska Shootout were Dave Pash and us and Paulie, and we were all at this ridiculous Anchorage bar that was like the only bar open. And yeah, I do remember it being a good night. I don't remember specifically the karaoke part, but that certainly tracks. We were basically in Russia at that point in time, and I was a college senior, so I was going to have some fun.
Yeah, it was. I don't know why that sticks in my head. I was just like, Dave turned to me and he goes, "That's Damon," and I look up and he's singing Peace Train.
Awesome story.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Damon, great stuff. We love having you on. Thanks so much for the time, and we'll be sure to check out that Fran Brown interview. Be well.
You too, guys. It's on my YouTube channel, so just search my name and it'll drop probably within the hour or so Syracuse fans can check it out there. And anytime you guys need something, let me know.
All right. We appreciate that. Damon Amendolara joining us here on the program. Quickly, we will check in on the market. Mike from Lee Baldwin and Company joining us. How's the market here on a Thursday, Mike?
Guys, we got a nice snapback after a really ugly day yesterday. We saw the Dow down over 1,000 points at the close yesterday, but getting about half of it back today, up over 500. The Nasdaq's really the star of the show, up almost 2.5% or 600 points. And our diamond, we're going to go with Microsoft. It's up $64 or 16%. They reported better than expected earnings last night, a really positive outlook, and Microsoft's having a great day. Another Mag 7 stock is not having such a good day, and that's our dog Meta. Facebook is down $55 a share, almost 10% to $530 a share. So they had a rough earnings report last night, but Microsoft more than made up for it, and the markets responded positively so far, guys.
All right, Mike, thanks for the info. We appreciate it. Positive update today. You as well. All the diamonds, none of the dogs. Be sure to visit LeeBaldwin.com. We'll take a time out here. We'll wrap up the first hour next. Brian Drake joins us at the top of hour number 2 to talk fantasy football. Back after this on ESPN Radio.
back when I used to fly, of course, I went to Anchorage, and that was just one of the most bizarre trips of my life. Like, so much fun, so weird, though. Like, spending, like, it was our first year. It was like spending my Thanksgiving with Dave Pash, who we barely knew each other at the time, in a hotel having turkey, you know. Going to the Great Alaskan Bush Company. You probably wouldn't have come with us to that.
Dominic, it's Amendolara. A-M-E-N-D-O-L-A-R-A. Amen. D-O-L-A-R-A.
No, I was a bird. It was a fun trip. I remember the media meal was, there was a freezer next to a microwave, and it had Hot Pockets in it.
For real?
Yeah. Dave didn't go to, it was me and I think Bill Seelick went to, which is an odd looking couple.
Yeah.
Went to the Great Alaska Bush Company together. Preston. I think it was the three of us. Bill Seelick was my road buddy back in the day. We would look ridiculous in bars together, but because he is who I had to sit. They made me sit next to Billy Seelick on the plane because he had more leg room. Yeah.
Okay. Double up at the end? Yeah.
You fly next to a guy for like 17 hours, you're going to get to know him pretty good. We flew commercial to Alaska. Chicago, Seattle, Anchorage.
How far is it from Seattle to Anchorage?
I think 5 hours.
Really?
I think so.
It's another 5.
It is 3.5, 4 hours. Sorry.
Still, though, that's,
yeah.
You wouldn't think it's that far, but.
We played Georgia Tech in the Peach Bowl, like, preseason tournament there. I think Bernie Fine was coaching, and I walk into a bar, and Bill Seelick's drinking a fish bowl full of booze the night before a game. Those were the good old days. I was in my 20s. Holy crap. I've been at that job a long time, Steve. How old are you? You were in your 20s when you started it. Like, this is going to be year 28 for me.
I was 22 when I started at Channel 9.
The reason I did a morning show with Damon at Z89 was I had been fired from my job, and Professor Wright asked me if I'd come over and just make some tape and teach the kids how to do a morning show. Oh, my God. My 20s and 30s were so fun. When I drank, I was fun. Steve would not have been friends with me back then. He would have been like, I can't behave that way. I also can't drink that much. I used to drink with some big dudes. I had a problem. Not going to lie. How many songs should we have left?
This is technically the third song.
I did What About Your Friends and Baby, Baby, Baby. All right, there we go.
You did Red Light Special.
Oh, yeah, I did. Did I do Baby, Baby? Yeah. So Baby, 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 and Red Light Special. All right. Unpretty, Steve. The song was written about me. I'm not very pretty. You're very handsome, though. They would never say that about you.
TLC, our artist of the day. We are going to go to our guest line right now. Brian Drake is ready for us, so we don't want to keep him waiting. We'll bring on Brian now, fantasy football podcast host and writer, SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio, to talk some fantasy football with us on this Thursday afternoon. Brian, it's great to have you on. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. We're matching with our shirts here, Mr. Infante, so thanks for having me on. And I can tell you, I love DA. I'm a big fan of Damon Amendola, so that was a great interview you guys had. You guys, I love Paulie's selections for the music, because when I was a disc jockey at Z89 back in the day.
Wow, it's a Z89 party. We all were.
We've all been there.
Damon, me, you.
I would, like, TLC, like Waterfalls or No Scrubs or whatever would come on, and I would just hated hearing that song 5 times an hour. I would just turn the master volume down. All right, here, beat a Syracuse Z89, and I, to give the DJ voice, I'd play it, and then just immediately put the master down. I'm like, I can't listen to this for another 3 minutes, but fun song.
I can relate to that. The summer that I was a DJ there, SWV was big. So, like, to this day, whenever I hear anything anything from SWV, it brings me back to my days at Z89.
Now I got to ask a question. Do you guys remember the other radio station that they used to have that was like across the hall and it was like in a closet?
Yeah.
I got in trouble because, as a joke, I went over there and I put All for One, I Swear, on loop. And it just kept playing on that station over and over. It was a morning show, but it was funny back then.
You deserve to get in trouble for that. Brian, let's talk some football, shall we? So, it's never too early to start preparing for our drafts, right? I mean, many of us probably have a draft in, 3-4 weeks, somewhere around there. As we head into training camp, let's forget about injuries. Like, injuries aside, who are the five? Like, give me your top 5 guys right now going into training camp.
Yeah, and it's funny. I actually did a draft over the weekend out at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And it's very simple this year. The top 5 is kind of solidified, where if you've got the first or second pick, you're choosing between Jahmyr Gibbs of the Detroit Lions and Bijan Robinson of the Atlanta Falcons. There's no wrong answer here, folks. They're both phenomenal. Don't sweat it if you hit 1 or 2. Just have fun. Fantasy football is supposed to be fun. After that, you start to move into some wide receivers here. Now you're going to have your choice of Puka Nacua, Jahmyr Chase at 4. And then at 5, the world kind of opens up to you. Do you want to stay at running back? Do you love Johnny Taylor? Do you want to, go back to the well one more time with Christian McCaffrey? Or maybe you say, hey, I'm going to stick with wide receiver. Give me something reliable like Jackson Jigba or Amon-Ra St. Brown, who is about as steady as it comes in the fantasy business.
Okay, so with that being said, you mentioned running backs right off the top. Is that the way to go? Especially, especially in a PPR league, I think you're going to be looking for a running back that can catch passes, obviously. But are we seeing a trend back toward running back heavy early on?
We are, without question. And I'm looking at some kind of consensus ADP for 12-team leagues. Your casual half-point PPR league, and while it's there are all those great wide receivers, people want to be in the running back business. What we've seen over the last 2 years is really running backs haven't gotten injured. It's been the wide receivers that are getting hurt more. And you can maybe attribute that to, number one, luck, but also the way these defenses are playing with these 2 safeties, these 2 high safeties, and the linebackers are not these Ray Lewises anymore. They're not these 270-pound monsters. They're lighter. These are essentially guys who 10 years ago in the NFL would have been safeties that are playing linebacker now. So these running backs aren't taking the pounding. The freak injuries that guys get are on these awful turf fields. So running back is back in vogue. People want to get their hands on the running backs. And if you don't get one in the first round, you dang sure better well get one in the second round. And it's not crazy anymore. We're drafting like it's 2002 out here. I did a draft over the weekend. I started with James Cook, and then I came back with Chase Brown in the second round, and I'll be fine at wide receiver. Wide receiver's so deep. But trust me, running back falls off a cliff, fellas. You want to have 1, maybe 2 good running backs through the first 4 rounds of your draft.
In terms of guys that may be flying under the radar a little bit, I'm sure you get this question a lot. Who's being undervalued right now? Somebody that you feel like is being slept on that, might make a difference on your fantasy football roster that, somebody might, you might be able to get good value on that pick.
I'll give you a couple of good values. And, one, if you're in a full point PPR, I love Rashee Rice. Now, listen, off the field, the guy's a complete knucklehead. I wouldn't trust him to go pick up my Chipotle. But if he's on the field, he's a PPR monster. And if you look around that Kansas City offense, who else are they throwing the ball to? I mean, Mr. Swift, Travis Kelce is 400 years old. Xavier Worthy's never proven anything, and they don't really have anything besides that. So you can get Rashee Rice in the middle of the third round, and he could return top 5 value. And at the running back position, it's not a great value, but Saquon Barkley is a second-round pick in fantasy right now. Last year, you had to spend either the 4th or 5th pick to get him. The Eagles have completely revamped their offense. They're running a lot more 12 personnel, and that's 2 tight ends on the field with 1 running back. And with that, they also went out and they finally got a blocking tight end. And so what the Eagles are going to do this year, they're going to play a lot more under center, which they never did last year, and they're going to run the rock. And Saquon Barkley is going to have a return to greatness in this Sean Mannion Philadelphia Eagles offense.
You brought up the Chiefs, and you brought up the name Patrick Mahomes. Obviously, he's coming off an injury. People forget during the offseason, there's a lot of movement, right? And so, you might open your fantasy football magazine and be like, oh, I didn't realize this guy played for this team or so on and so forth. So with that being said, when you look at the quarterback position, kind of break it down for us. Where does Patrick Mahomes kind of fall into the pecking order for you right now, given the injury, given the offense that he has, as you said, not as many weapons as he used to have at his disposal, and aging Travis Kelce, so on and so forth. Break down the quarterback position for me.
I know a lot of Central New Yorkers listening to this right now love to draft Josh Allen. And I'm never going to tell you don't draft Josh Allen, who in his career has finished as either the number 1 or number 2 fantasy scoring quarterback every season. So I'm not going to dissuade you if you want to take Josh Allen. He's your favorite player. Again, fantasy is supposed to be fun. And you want to take him in the 3rd round. Okay, don't take him in the 1st. Don't be that guy. Don't even take him in the 2nd. Okay, quarterback is insanely deep. How deep? Patrick Mahomes, who you just referenced, is coming off the board. His average draft position is quarterback 14. He's almost a 10th round pick. You can wait forever. This is what I want you folks to do. Load up at the running back position and the wide receiver position. The onesie spots, quarterback, tight end. Don't worry about it. You can find guys a little later. If you're looking for a quarterback, you want to say, 8 rounds in your draft, Justin Herbert is the name you need to know. It's Mike McDaniel calling the plays now in Los Angeles. He's got a bevy of weapons. Justin Herbert with a now healthy offensive line in front of him could be an absolute steal. And going right after him in ADP is Trevor Lawrence of the Jacksonville Jaguars. His playoff stretch won people leagues last year. Liam Cohen, his offensive coordinator, is someone who, without question, knows how to call offensive plays. He's got a good running game behind him. He's got 4 good receivers on the outside, and he can run the ball a little bit. Trevor Lawrence is somebody who can run in 6-7 touchdowns himself. So wait a little while, focus on those guys, or even if you're a Giants fan, Jackson Dart will do the job for you in the 9th round.
All right, so now I am going to ask you about injuries. Malik Neighbors is another popular pick here locally, I think. A lot of Giants fans here coming off an ACL injury. How does he fit into the equation at the wide receiver position? And what are some other injuries or maybe guys coming off of injuries that you are specifically looking at here during training camp to see how they're doing?
Malik Neighbors, in the lead up to draft season, and there's a lot of best ball drafts, and maybe folks who aren't as into it, they do just a 1 or 2 kind of home leagues or office leagues around town. They might not know that Malik Neighbors went from being a guy drafted at the end of the 1st round to then dropping to like the 4th round. People were really nervous about this knee injury, but as we've seen on camp videos, he's running, he's cutting, he's catching passes. He looks like the Malik Neighbors, that we know and love. And if that's the case, I think he's going to become a 1-2 turn pick. And that means you're going to take him maybe at the end of the 1st, early 2nd round. I'm not going to talk you out of taking Malik Neighbors. He's a target hog on a team that doesn't have a lot of competition. They're going to be behind in a lot of games. And, he's going to come through for you as long as he can stay healthy. Elsewhere, guys coming off injuries that I like a little bit. How about Mike Evans in San Francisco? Now he's older, 30 plus years old, a history of hamstring injuries, but their second wide receiver out there, Ricky Pearsall, he just had a re-aggravation of a knee injury yesterday. Christian McCaffrey, we know he gets his mail forwarded to the injured reserve. If Mike Evans can stay healthy on a really good 49ers team in the end of the 5th round, early 6th round, I think Mike Evans can have kind of a one last ride, a rebirth season in San Francisco, and maybe score 10 touchdowns.
How about rookies? Any rookies that you think are worth taking?
Well, I mean, rookies at the running back position are always, really sexy. People want to get their hands on Jeremiah Love, who was the 3rd overall pick in the draft. And think what you want about taking a running back that early in the real NFL draft. It's a bad move. Go ask the Cowboys how many championships they won after drafting Ezekiel Elliott really high. And Jeremiah Love's somebody who got overdrafted by his real team, but he's a very, very talented player. I think he's still scoring touchdowns on Syracuse from that 70-point barrage they put up last year. Jeremiah Love is somebody who's going to go end of the 2nd, early 3rd round. Here's the problem. His team is awful. I don't want to draft rookies just like Ashton Genty a year ago on a horrific team. The offensive line in Arizona is not good. The quarterback play, they're going to start with Jacoby Brissett and then probably lean into Carson Beck halfway through the year. I don't want anything to do with that. So if I can stay away from Jeremiah Love, I will. Jadarian Price in Seattle, his Notre Dame running mate, is a fine pick, and you can get him at a value a little bit later. And at wide receiver, I don't really love any of the rookies. I don't love Carnell Tate. I didn't see him do it as an alpha at Ohio State, and I don't necessarily think he's going to do it now in Tennessee.
I was going to ask you about the Bills. Josh Allen, you talked about James Cook a little bit. I want to ask about the tight end position, Dalton Kincaid, because he's a guy that we feel like, in past years, maybe could be a difference maker at that position. Hasn't quite lived up to the hype.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about Dalton Kincaid, where he kind of slides into that tight end position, and how do you go about drafting the tight end position? Because I feel like a lot of years there's maybe like 5 guys that are worth taking, and then as you talked about with the running backs, it kind of falls off a cliff at some point. So kind of break down that position for us if you could.
Last year, if you had Trey McBride, he was a big-time difference maker. Listen, he set the record for tight end receptions. He needed a record-setting season on a team that was down 14-0 at kickoff to get all those targets. And now people think Brock Bowers could have that same type of season with the Las Vegas Raiders. Again, Bowers didn't stay healthy last year, so it really kind of torpedoed his whole year. I'm not spending a 2nd-round pick on McBride or Bowers when a few rounds later I can get Colston Loveland, who I believe leads the Bears in targets this year, Tyler Warren on an Indianapolis Colts team that has not a lot on the outside, 100-plus vacated targets with Michael Pittman gone, or my favorite tight end target, Tucker Kraft in Green Bay, who you can get in the, probably 6th, 7th round of your home league draft, coming off an injury. But before he was hurt in those 8 weeks, was like the number 1 tight end. He was putting up Brock Bowers numbers. So I don't want to pay for an elite tight end when I can get Pitts, Kraft, Laporta, even wait a while and get George Kittle coming off injury later in the draft. If you go back to Kincaid, super talented guy. What's the problem in Buffalo? They spread the ball around to everybody. And plus, availability by name is not Dalton Kincaid. Only put in 14 games last year, chronically misses games, and they love playing Dawson Knox. So you're going to invest in Dalton Kincaid, who a year ago only ran 51% of the routes for the Buffalo Bills on the season. Like that's not great. I don't want a guy who's only on the field half the time, only at a 15% target share for the Bills. And we can get real nerdy with all these stats, but here, get guys on teams that have to throw them the ball. Loveland, they just got rid of DJ Moore. Welcome to Buffalo, by the way. Colston Loveland's a guy I'd like to have. Tyler Warren, Daniel Jones is going to need someone to throw to. And Tucker Kraft, nobody stays healthy in Green Bay with Jalen Reed and Christian Watson. So I love those guys at the tight end position.
All right, Brian, I feel like we could do this all day. Really informative stuff. Anything we didn't touch on that you want to get to for our listeners and viewers before we part ways today?
Yeah, have fun at the draft. Fantasy football is supposed to be a blast with your buddies. Do your draft in person if possible. Come up with some fun trophy that you can give away. Make people excited to be in the league because that's what brings us together. Sometimes your group chat with your fantasy buddies, that's the only way you guys see each other anymore from college. So make sure that you guys are talking to each other a lot. You set up something fun, have a blast. And I look forward to hearing what comes of your station draft here. I know last year I came on and talked to you guys. I think the night of. So who's the defending champ in that league?
Are we doing that again?
Paulie hates it.
I don't hate it. It just, I have to sit there with listeners and
I was going to say you hate being social. That's why you hate it.
Yeah,
you hate it for all the reasons.
Bunch
that
of
it's
strangers
fun.
and me hanging out naming football players.
Yeah, no, we're looking forward to it, Brian, and we look forward to having you on again soon. Maybe we'll have you on the day that maybe that'll become a tradition. We'll have you on the day of the draft again. Yes, I'm sure we're going to do it again.
Let me know. I'll come to the draft and have some beers. We'll hang out.
I love it.
All right,
Brian, thanks so much for the time. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, fellas.
All right, Brian Drake joining us here on the program, and with that, we'll take a time out.
I was hoping he wouldn't bring that up. We would forget about having to hang out with the listeners.
It's fun
at the Wildcat.
Just be social. You can handle it for a couple hours.
I sat at the table with people last time.
I remember.
The first year, I sat at a table by myself in the corner.
315-437-7644 is the number if you'd like to get involved. We'll take a time out here. We're back after this on ESPN Radio.
Last time you were too busy talking to somebody and missed half your picks. Hey, you guys, good time. Do you guys work at radio? For God's sakes. We're doing an interview.
We're trying to do a bit.
Yeah, well, how about have better time?
Put it in the chat. Should Paulie eat his cake?
Fudgy the Whale. Oh, I guess I'll eat a piece of Fudgy the Whale and not be able to eat any dinner tonight now because 10 billion calories. I'll eat. This is my favorite goddamn cake. I am. Gaber, quit pawning things off on me. They had ice cream cake, you jackass. You're a creep, Gaber. You're projecting. Uh-huh.
Is that the whole thing? Oh.
My God, guys, I'm only eating a cake. You don't have to sit and watch me.
Well, I was going to say, are you going to eat the cherry on camera?
Why are you all watching me? I do love this. They used to buy me one for my birthday every year, and it stopped. God damn, this is good. This is the best cake ever.
Why do we have it here?
Carvel is a sponsor of Sunny.
Oh, gotcha. Well, thank you for that little snack. Appreciate it.
little pick me up. Is that better than ham?
Oh, yeah. This is top 5 favorite things ever.
Top 5.
Mm-hmm. Neighbor's a creep. Projecting his weirdness on me.
Paulie, we're back.
I can't have cake. Tracks me. I like that I got up to get a soda and I get accused of the. I already did that one.
Me again. And I'm back.
Thanks to the sales staff, Steve, they brought us a Fudgy the Whale from Carvel, and that is my favorite dessert of all time.
Top 5.
Fail. Oh, top 5 foods.
Yeah?
Oh, the little crunchies in it.
It's good.
I could sit here and go into the science behind Fudgy the Whale for days.
Days, he says.
Oh, the crunchies, the smooth creaminess, the chocolate, the cherry on top. Did you know that Fudgy the Whale from Carvel is just the Santa cake turned in a different direction?
I did not know that, no.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about it.
So if you look at Fudgy, he's a whale with a tail.
Yeah.
If you turn it this way, it's Santa with his hat going this way.
That's smart.
Doubling up on the same mold.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
That is smart.
I'm obsessed with Fudgy.
Let's get to our Yankees update, shall we? Brought to you by the Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus. Brutal loss for the Yankees last night. They jump out to a 4-0 lead. They score 4 runs in the first. Cam Schlittler was terrific again. 6 in the third, innings of work, 8 strikeouts, gave up 1 run. They're cruising along, and the bullpen could not hold the lead. White Sox come back, force extra innings, and they end up winning it in 12. And the Yankees now 1-7 this year in extra inning games. 1-7 in extra innings. Tough way to lose. Lost 6-5 in 12, and they are back at it today for the final game of that series. That is a 2:10 first pitch. As Yankees looking to at least win the series, they've won 2 of the first 3. Looking to cap things off with a win this afternoon.
Kevin from Liverpool says Fudgy the Whale is the same mold as Cookie Puss. No, it is not. Keep your fake news, your misinformation out of our chat.
I'm going to believe you on this one. It sounds like you know quite a bit about Fudgy the Whale.
I also got into the whole Carvel 30 for 30 documentary about the owner and stuff. It's weird.
Really?
Yeah.
There's a documentary about the owner?
Yeah, don't you remember the guy's voice? Yeah, there's a whole backstory about the founder of it. Yeah, it's weird.
You want to share anything about it?
No. Look it up yourself.
Okay.
In your defense, you ate Cookie Puss without making a face or hesitation. Everything on that was to your standards? Yeah.
Yeah. I wiped off a little bit of the frosting. But I ate most of it.
I'm so glad I didn't see that. I would have smashed it in your face.
Just a little bit. I ate most of it.
But you can eat vanilla ice cream, which is white and creamy.
It is, but I don't know the.
You're a hypocrite.
Ice cream doesn't bother me. I don't know. Maybe it's foods that are room temperature. I don't know.
Okay. What foods are room temperature?
You know what I mean.
No, I don't.
Because it's cold. I don't know. It doesn't bother me.
All right. Here is.
I don't make the rules.
You want another hot take? You do have a thing about this room temperature. I like my condiments to be much colder than my food. Does that make sense? I don't want the ketchup bottle that's been sitting on the table. I want the ketchup bottle that's been in the fridge.
Yeah. I would agree with that. It's a good take.
Okay. Got through that segment.
Well, it's a quick segment because we were a segment
by the way, we are a radio company, and all of the staff decided it was a good idea while we were on the air to walk in and announce that we had a Fudgy the Whale. And we're in the middle of an interview. How about just listen to what we're doing?
I was going to say, in their defense, I think idiots. They were trying to surprise us in the middle of the show. They didn't realize we were in the middle of an interview, and then they stepped back.
You don't walk in when the mic light's on for any reason. You don't get to if you're a salesperson, you don't just get to decide what's a funny bit. You don't know. You're a salesperson.
I think it would have worked just fine had we not been in the middle of an interview. If they interrupted us right now having this discussion, I would welcome you to come on in. Let's have some ice cream cake.
I would yell at them. You don't have carte blanche. You don't get to walk in when the mic light's on.
They noticed quickly that it was an interview, and they backed away. I'm okay with it.
All right, there you go.
Let's get back on time. We've got today's business.
This is a business. You can't open a door to a studio when the mic light's on for any reason, unless the building's on fire.
Well, our mics are always on, Paulie.
Yeah, but when the light's on, that means we're on the air.
I know.
Thank you for the cake, though. It was delicious.
I knew that was coming. All right, today's business coming up on the other side. Back after this on ESPN Radio.
No, you let them get away with it once. They start thinking they're celebrities and they walk in the middle of your show. You got to put the salespeople in place. Go sell something. Why are you all here? Go sell something. Thank you. What an ass. Yes, Caper, I'm an ass. They all hate me. They all hate me so much that they bought my favorite cake and brought it to me. I have never walked in on Josh and Cody when their mic light was on. I can guarantee you that. When they are on the radio, I never said, who hates me? They don't let people walk in when the mic light's on. Get the hell out of here, guys. It's common sense in this business. I'm not miserable. There's rules in this business. There's rules in every business. You shouldn't walk in a show when the mics are on. I'm sorry. I'll die on this hill. And they learned their lesson. They learned their lesson. Why? We're in the middle of a freaking interview and they open up the door.
You're grumpy.
No, imagine if you walked in on News Channel 9 while they're on the air and brought a freaking cake in. Get the hell out of here.
Different.
No, it isn't. It's not different.
It is.
Hey, I've never walked in on them while their mic lights were on. We wouldn't have gone viral. Nobody gives a shit that we got cake. Steve doesn't care about this job. That's right. Go sell something. I was nice about it when it happened. Now afterwards, I'm yelling about it. I was like, no, it's okay. Please back out of the studio. We're doing a freaking interview. Caper, just because you're a creep and you project your creepiness on me. Yesterday, you were really creepy. Yeah, I'm very hateable in this building. Nobody likes me. I don't think they'd expect any less from me than me yelling at them for walking in on my show. I might call HR and say they walked in on our show. Gaber, that did not even come close to happening yesterday. It's how you would behave in that situation. No, Katie is not. I don't know what she's doing now. She reached out and said happy birthday to me.
Katie?
Yeah.
She got married.
Yeah, she did get married. I watched a Snapchat of hers yesterday. It was the best one she's ever posted because it was just her dog. Everything's a bit strange about him. No Scrubs, Steve. One of their 3 number 1 hits. I feel like I'm short a song. I don't know what the hell I did. I hate my job. Stink at it. Speaking of Scrubs, you want to talk about a guy that hangs out the side of his best friend's ride?
Yeah?
It's Tim Leonard.
Why do you say that?
Because that's what they say in the song,
okay.
Steve.
You say you want to talk about a guy. I thought you had, like, information.
He hangs out the side of his...
Remember when he was in a good mood yesterday, Steve?
I was in a good mood with that.
I just didn't know where you were going with that.
You don't know the lyrics to Scrubs?
I do. You're like, speaking of guys that I didn't know what you meant by that.
Because they said it,
yeah.
And then I said, speaking of it.
Okay. You were insinuating that he... Yeah, okay.
I'm insinuating that he hangs out the side of his best friend's ride, is what I was insinuating. Yes,
you are.
He's a scrub. You get the joke now, Steve?
Yeah,
okay.
I got it.
Tim Leonard, for the record, is not a scrub.
Thank you.
He has his own car.
Don't blasphemize. You said yesterday.
He hangs out the side of his driver's side of his car. Okay,
there you go.
I was lying. He's not a scrub, Steve.
Thank you.
We need to get the Stephen A. Smith, Kwame Brown. You remember that when he was like, he's a scrub. Like, he traded Kwame Brown. All right, today's business brought to you by Superior Plus Propane. I got something that'll cheer you up, Paulie, talking about your favorite basketball player on your favorite team. That's LeBron James, and apparently him and ESPN are at the 1-yard line on a Last Dance-esque documentary. They're going to follow him the entire season in Philly.
That, because that would happen with any other player, Steve.
Right.
If Tobias Harris was on the team, they'd be following him around for his last dance.
Sportscaster U alum, Tobias Harris.
Nice.
If Allen Iverson didn't even get a last dance. Charles Buckley did not even get a last dance.
I love this story,
Charles
Tim.
Buckley?
Yeah.
I love this.
Chuck Buckley, I also hear he might not live in Philadelphia. That's a news story. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that gets covered by where everybody lives is in headline news.
No, but that comes with being the star player.
Yeah,
I would still rather
it
him
doesn't.
on my
It
team.
does not come with being a star player.
It does. If Josh Allen said, I'm going to live in Toronto, that would be a story.
It would be a story in Buffalo.
No, it would be a story everywhere.
Nobody would care that Josh Allen lived in Toronto.
How many Sixers players do you think live in the city, in New York City? And is he the first, or?
I don't know. That's a pretty far commute, isn't it? It's got to be an hour and a half drive, right?
Probably more, right? I don't know. My geography.
That seems really expensive. I think that's just a rumor. He's got to live in Philly.
No, I think he's going to live in the city. Maybe
he could.
1-4 is about an hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah, maybe he has like a apartment pad that's obviously extravagant that's in Philly, and then his family lives in New York City, and
I think his family lives in L.A.
Well, they're going to move to the East Coast, right? I mean,
I don't know. I don't care. Why are we talking about LeBron James?
Well, he's on your
brought it up.
favorite team.
I love it. I love this for you, Paulie. And I love that you get to be crabby about it the whole season.
Yeah, I like that you think Josh Allen is LeBron James, too. The hell out of here.
He will be by the time his career's over.
Oh, wow.
By the time he's in his last season.
Yeah, if LeBron James had
Tom
no
Brady-esque.
rings.
I do feel like LeBron is doing this to counter The Last Dance and Jordan. He's strategic and
sure he is.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yes, he's going to take a helicopter to work every day, which is insane to me. Steve does that.
Yeah, Steve's got that
I
type of
clearly
money.
don't because I was stuck in traffic today.
That's true. Yeah, bad
The
day
one
to say
day he
that.
decided he wouldn't take the helicopter.
What else on today's business? We haven't talked much about the UNC football situation this week with Mike Lombardi. We don't know why he was put on paid administrative leave, but it just seems like it's another thing that is going to be on this odd Belichick experience. I guess, do you guys think Bill Belichick could lose his job at the end of this year? Like, what would be the bare minimum he has to get to from a win standpoint to
I think he's got to
keep
get to
his
a bowl
job?
game.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is another one of those. This is another one where the surrounding stories are bigger than your actual football program, and it bothers me. And if I was a North Carolina fan, I'd be sick of it.
Yeah, it's hard to justify. Again, this day of NIL, you want immediate results, and if you're hitting up your donors for millions of dollars, and you've got an increased investment from the donors, and then you look at the win-loss record at the end of the day, and the circus that has become North Carolina football at the moment, it's hard to justify him keeping his job. And I know, his track record and his resume and his reputation and all that. But if it's not working, it's not working. And I think you get less time to make it work in present-day college athletics than maybe you used to. And so, yeah, I'm with Paulie. I think if you don't see tangible progress this year, that seat is going to go from warm to scorching hot very quickly.
I think that's the game. I know everyone talks about the BC game, and it was dreadful how bad Syracuse looked, of course, towards the end of the season last year. And I don't know how they got beat so badly by BC, but the UNC game was the game where they decided to start Joe Filardi kind of for the first time. And you look back on that, you just got to win against UNC and BC this year. I mean, it's almost amazing that Syracuse, they're 14th in the ACC preseason poll, and they lost to UNC and BC last year, who are 15 and 16 when they had them at home. Now they have to play them on the road. So when you guys were going through that exercise in the opening segment, ranking all the games, it just really stands out that UNC and BC, of course UConn as well, you just have to get those 4 wins, those first 4 games, because then you enter into another tier. And I don't see them making a bowl game unless they get those 4 wins.
100%. Yeah. I mean, you look at them last year, UNC won 2 conference games, BC won 1. And, of those 3, 2 of them were against Syracuse, to your point. So, yes, you gotta get the job done against those guys, UConn and New Hampshire. That gets you 4, and then you got to find 2 elsewhere, which is why it's so difficult, because you've got, the Louisville, SMU, Clemson, Notre Dame at home. You're probably not winning any of those games. So then you got to go on the road and you got to win, a toss-up game or 2 or hope you beat Cal. So it's not going to be easy to get to 6, but I think this team's going to be improved. And, to your point, Tim, if they are truly improved, they absolutely need to win those games.
Did you guys see the comments from Penn State Athletic Director Pat Kraft that was making the rounds this week?
I did not.
I didn't see the comments. I did see a graphic of the various sports that they have and whether they operated with a profit or a deficit. And football had a big profit. Basketball had a slight profit. Everything else was a deficit, to the point where at the end of the day, I think Penn State made roughly $200,000 as a whole across its athletic department. But did he have comments based on that?
I think that graphic was probably because of these comments. So he, I think, was speaking at, I don't know if it's the Big Ten Media Days or what, but anyway, he was behind a podium. I saw a clip where he's talking about the men's basketball program at Penn State and how much money they have spent on the program. And he said, quote, "No, we're not spending $20 million on a basketball roster. It's not a good investment. Let's just call it what it is." Essentially, he admitted, like, in my time here, we're never going to be spending at the top of the Big Ten in basketball because that's not where our bread is buttered, like, to paraphrase a little bit. So what do you make of that? I mean, would you guys have a problem if Brian Blair, like, picked a sport and came out? And I think that's just it's a tough one to sell to the fan base that, like, basketball is never really going to be up there.
I don't think it's a tough sell to the Penn State fan. I think it'd be a tough sell for Syracuse fans. It's a different world where Syracuse was good at both at one point, and Syracuse basketball can actually make money, unlike most. Like, I don't think Penn State basketball is ever going to be a moneymaker.
And I do think the way that it's set up right now is that the university can decide to some degree which sports they're going to support more. And I don't think he would put that out there publicly right now. Because again, I think most people believe that, basketball got a little bit of a bump this year. Women's basketball maybe got a little bit of a bump last year. Obviously everything comes at the expense of the entire pie. So maybe football got, a fraction less, basketball got a fraction more. He's not going to say that publicly, right? So, because I think at a place like Syracuse, at least right now, you don't want to have to decide. You want both to be good. Yeah. You kind of need both to be good. So, I don't think you would see Brian Blair make a statement like that publicly.
Yeah, it's just fascinating because Penn State is so clearly a football school. Yeah. So I wonder just how many Penn State fans are actually upset about that comment. I mean, it got some pushback online on social media, but mostly because I was seeing a lot of college basketball pundits talking about it, not necessarily like Penn State's core fan base. They might be fine with it, honestly. They might just say, yeah, football funds everything. Look at the numbers, and we got to keep funding football.
Yeah.
Kicker time, Paulie. What do you got?
Dateline Harrisburg. Do you think this is a problem everywhere, Steve and Tim?
Well, I don't
Harrisburg police are. I was asking you before.
I know. I was just making.
What is with you two today?
I don't know. You're grumpy and
I'm grumpy.
Yeah.
He started it, Dad. Harrisburg police said they're stepping up enforcement against illegal speakeasies. Huh. Apparently this is a big problem in Harrisburg where people are serving booze and gambling in their basements without permits. Do you think there's a speakeasy, an illegal one, rolling around in Syracuse? I know there's one that is a legal one. Right, yeah. I've been to that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. You didn't have a good time at that one. I remember that story.
Yes.
Really?
Am I thinking of the same one as you? I don't know. We can take it off air. But have you been to a speakeasy?
Not an illegal one.
Yeah, I'm in Harrisburg once a year doing that draft show. I've never seen the underground. I don't know. I don't know if it's a problem because how would we know if it's secret?
It's true.
I don't know if it's a problem in every city.
I like the concept of speakeasies. I think I've only been to one or two in my life. I don't really have actual takeaways.
Have you been to the one here?
No.
Oh, okay. Went to a going away party there once.
Mm.
Yeah, I went with my friend once. I don't think it's the same place because the only time I've been there, I was just there with a dude friend and we hung out.
I was mistaking. I thought you were talking about the illegal place down the street.
Oh, no, that was not it.
I thought you were talking about just bars in general, that one of them has been in hot water lately. Maybe, allegedly.
I stand corrected. Penn State basketball made $172,000 last year.
Boy.
That's what I said. It was a slight profit.
Yeah,
Football made a big profit.
I apologize for my stupidity.
Everything else was in a deficit. All right.
I mean, you can fund the whole athletic program on $172,000. That's less than you make in a year here.
Let's take a timeout. We'll wrap things up on the other side. Pick an artist of the day.
He was thinking of the restaurant I went to where they never brought us our food.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody's out there.
No, we don't. We only have one producer for the. Yeah, home.
He was here, but he goes
He's
home.
allowed to go home.
So we got one more segment and then the rest of the day, right?
Yeah, I think this is it.
Oh, is this it?
Well, I thought we were going to double up.
Oh, we're doubling. Okay, yeah.
We can double up. That's our new thing, doubling up at the end of the show. The old end of show double up.
Double up.
Double up weekdays. 2 for Tuesday, on Thursday. I thought today was Friday, and I was so disappointed when you said today's a Thursday show. All morning I thought it was.
We didn't even have a show Monday.
Shut up. I don't care.
If anything, it should be Wednesday.
It should be Wednesday. Oh, gotcha.
In your head.
I thought it was Friday, and I'm not happy. Maybe that's why I'm grumpy today. Because I thought it was Friday till you said, welcome to a Thursday edition.
Do you have a topic? For starting 5?
Yeah, I do. Right. And you guys aren't going to like it.
Does it involve people?
It does, but not. It does not involve a person. No, you're going to like it.
You just said we're going to hate it.
Are you going to say it on air?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're going to like it. But I think you're going to like it. But it does involve people, but not a person. It involves groups of people.
Maybe we should just have like a rotating cast if someone gets to pick the topic.
No.
The dictatorship. Yeah.
No, I don't give a shit.
I'm the boss. I enjoyed how you were just venting and going on and on about them walking in the studio, and no one out there was listening. I was like, Paulie's venting about you guys. They didn't care.
Yeah. They don't. They clearly don't listen, or they would have known we were doing an interview, and they tried to walk.
They were walking by, and me and Paul yelled like, "They're in an interview," and they just kept going.
Good for them, though. Like, let's go. Let's ruin the show. Ooh, double. And yesterday was TLC, and we got 2 other letter names. Abbreviation names.
You did the Yankees update, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brought to you by the Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus. Don't forget to call Dan at some point.
I know.
I wish I could do Dan's golf tournament. I'm out of town.
I'm not going to send. I don't send group emails. I accidentally sent a group. They sent out the invitations for the Christmas party, and I replied to everybody that I'm going to be in Virginia. And for 2 weeks, it was like, oh, Christmas party, Paulie's going to be in Virginia. We should all be upset. Like, everybody was just killing me.
You're that guy who replied all.
Yeah, I didn't mean to do it.
Be better.
Yeah, you're going to be in Virginia. Oh. So if I couldn't do anything, it was, are you going to be in Virginia tomorrow? Because we need you to do this.
That's funny.
It was funny. I deserved that.
Yeah, you did. Be better.
Because there's a Yankees game.
I guess we'll have some college sports act info tomorrow. So exciting. I was joking with Paulie beforehand. Like, I'm just tired of. They're talking about like now having a salary cap. Like the rev share would be the only way you could pay. I don't even know. I think they're trying to implement like 48 million total for rev share plus NIL.
I was just trying to respond to the invite, and I responded to everybody.
Yeah, that's what the coaches were saying.
Waterfalls wraps it up. This works out good because I don't think All right. You guys can argue with me. We can discuss this now. We do our starting 5 every Friday. Last week we did sitcom characters, and it didn't go well. It kind of went off the rails.
No, it didn't go off the rails. That is one. You didn't like
cheated.
You didn't like the judge's decision.
Was it a close game? Close battle?
Yeah, it was close. He was
upset. It said I would have dominated if Herman Munster was allowed to have his actual abilities. And Steve didn't say, well, we got to do that because we're allowing all of my players to have their actual abilities.
The judge's decision is final. You saw the prompt I typed in. I put in the teams, and it said my team beat yours. The final score, I think I won by 6.
If it happened to you, you would have complained, and I would have been, you know what, you're right,
I
Steve.
would have dropped it by now, though. I probably would have complained like the next day.
No, because it would have got that far. I would have said, hey.
I disagree.
Did you put like Team Steve, Team Paulie, or did you put?
I put Team 1, Team 2, Team 3.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
That's the right answer.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't want the ChatGPT to be feeding you victories to keep using ChatGPT. Get you pumped up.
In fact, I was Team 2, so I wasn't even Team 1. So,
wow, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
No collusion.
This is my idea for tomorrow's starting 5 of objects that don't play basketball or things that don't play basketball. Fan bases. Starting 5 fan bases. And you could take any fan base from any team, any sport.
So like Bill's Mafia.
Bill's Mafia.
You put them in a position.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think?
Interesting.
It's not your worst idea ever. I mean, it just raises the question of what would the Syracuse fan base
Why would you draft? I wouldn't even draft that. They wouldn't even make they would not be a starting 5 fan base for me.
I think we could do better, but I'll allow it. I'm not going to. It's not totally people. I don't want to keep drafting in the.
I don't want to keep drafting people either.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is more of an idea. So
yeah,
this
this is a sports related one. Starting 5 fan bases.
I'm a little bit worried about how ChatGPT is going to evaluate
we're worried about how they're evaluating things.
Well, I just don't want it to be like, well, the Patriots always win, so that was a good pick. I want it to be the Patriots fans are.
Can we
you know what I
worry
mean?
about you drafted a stapler, and a stapler can't actually shoot.
But that's a stapler you can't really take actual data or facts from. Well, no, you can't be trusted with a stapler.
But no, tomorrow is fan bases. What's the chat say?
Yes, let's get the approval of the chat before we lock in.
No, who cares what they think? They're not very bright.
Joke.
Artist of the day. Tomorrow,
That was a good one, Steve.
James Taylor. That was good. I didn't get your sarcasm. James Taylor, Eagles, REM, ELO. ELO, REM, Eagles, James Taylor. Go ahead, get it out of the way. Get your snarky REM joke out of the way. Come on, you do it every time I say REM. Go ahead. It's just festering in your stupid little brain.
No, I'm going to pass.
I did it.
James Taylor.
I did it. I got him out of doing his miserable, stupid joke. That was awesome. All right, I'll take James Taylor, too. Let's go.
Yeah, sweep. I was going to say James Taylor as well.
Let's go. All right. With that, we are out of time. We appreciate you listening. We appreciate you watching. We do appreciate the chat as well. I was just joking. For Paulie, for Tim, I'm Steve. Enjoy the rest of the day, everybody. We'll do it again noon tomorrow.
Love you, Ryan.